Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Continuing, Canto 8, Withdrawal of the Cosmic Creations, Chapter 12, the Mohini Murti Incarnation, Bewilders, Lord Shiva. So here, in this chapter, the Lord Shiva wants to see the Mohini Murti form. At the same time, it is said by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that Lord Shiva didn't think much of the Lord's bewilderment of the demons. He was thinking, these demons by nature easily bewildered. So then the Lord wanted to show him that the Mohini Murti is not just ordinary bewilderment, because his wife is already the Maya. So the Lord wanted to show him. So in one sense, the Lord wanted to kind of teach him a lesson. Okay.
So who told him, the Lord Shiva, Krishna or Narayan told him don't go, he want to see Mohini Murti, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not sure who told him to don't go to see.
Nobody.
No?
Nobody. Okay, texts 1 and 2. Shri Bhadrayini Vacha Vrishadvajo Nisham Yedam Yoshid Rupena Danava Mahajitva Suraganan Hari Somam Apayaya Vishamaruya Girishaha Sarvabhuta Ganay Vrtaha Sahadevya Yayav Drastum Yatraste Madhusudana. Sukadeva Goswami said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, in the form of a woman, captivated the demons and enabled the demigods to drink the nectar. After hearing of these pastimes, Lord Shiva, who is carried by a bull, went to the place where Madhusudana, the Lord, resides. Accompanied by his wife Uma and surrounded by his companions, the ghosts, Lord Shiva went there to see the Lord's form as a woman. He must have gone to Vaikuntha, no? Or Sweetadip. Text 3. Sabhajito Bhagavata Sadaram Somaya Bhavaha Supavista Vachedam Pratipujya Smayan Harin. The Supreme Personality of Godhead welcomed the Lord Shiva and Uma with great respect. And after being seated comfortably, Lord Shiva duly worshipped the Lord and smilingly spoke as follows. Text 4. Shri Mahadeva Vacha Deva Deva Jagadvyapin Jagadisha Jaganmaya Sarvesham Abhibhavanam Tvamatma Heturishvaraha. Lord Mahadev said, O chief demigod among the demigods, O all-pervading Lord, Master of the universe, by your energy you are transformed into the creation. You are the root and efficient cause of everything. You are not material. Indeed, you are the supersoul or supreme living force of everything. Therefore, you are Parameshwara, the supreme controller of all controllers. So from here and the following few verses, Lord Shiva will glorify the Lord. So here, in the middle of the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Lord Shiva is sometimes called Maheshwara, and so people think that Lord Shiva is everything. But here, Lord Shiva addresses Lord Vishnu as Jagadisha, the master of the universe. Lord Shiva is sometimes called Vishveshwara, But here he addresses Lord Vishnu as Jaganmaya, indicating that even Vishveshwara is under Lord Vishnu's control. Okay. Text 5. Adyantau asya yanmadyam idam anyataham bahi yato vyayasya naitani tat satyam brahmachit bhavan. The manifest, the unmanifest, false ego and the beginning, maintenance and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation all come from you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because you're the Absolute Truth, the Supreme Absolute Spirit Soul, the Supreme Brahman, such changes as birth, death, and sustenance do not exist in you. So here again, technical information Prabhupada gives in the purport. After he quotes the Bhagavad Gita 7.4, in other words, Prabhupada says, the ingredients of the cosmic manifestation also consists of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? Even though they are separated, it's still His energy. This does not mean, however, that because the ingredients come from Him, He is no longer complete. Because there are people who think like that. They think in a conditioned or materialistic way. Right? If we have something, and if we give a portion of what we have, then we won't have the full thing anymore. So similarly, they think if the Lord expands, He must become smaller and smaller. So He is no longer complete. So, but from the Sri Ishopanishad, we know Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishyati. The Lord is complete, and so many complete units come from Him. Thus, the Lord is called Avyaya, meaning inexhaustible. So, no matter how many times He expands, He will remain intact. And this is part of His Achintya Shakti. Okay? Unless we accept the Absolute Truth as Achintya Veda, simultaneously one and different, we cannot have a clear conception of the Absolute Truth. Previously, they were different acharyas brought different theories, and then some of the things were not completely understood until Mahaprabhu brought this philosophy of Achintya Veda Tattva. Yeah. Then it made everyone understand, oh, okay. Yeah. You have a proper understanding of what absolute truth is. Otherwise, you only know some aspects of it. Just like we don't know completely how the universe is structured. Some things are given in the Bhagavatam, but we still, with our intelligence, we cannot fully understand. Yeah. Until someone can really describe certain things properly, then we are able to understand. So Prabhupada continues, the Lord is the root of everything. Nothing can exist without the Lord, so He is the root of everything. So Aham Adir Hi Devanam. He's behind the devas, he's behind the demons, he's behind the human race, he's behind almost everything in the universe if you look at carefully. So therefore, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu. Yeah, I'm the source of everything. Both matter and spirit come from me. Okay. So Avyaya means inexhaustible, and He doesn't change. So that's very important point to bear in mind. So whenever people always say, Lord is like that, Lord is like that, if you can remember this and that He's Achintya, inconceivable, then you can make them understand from that point of view. Text 6. Tavaiva charanambojam Shreyas-kama nirashishaha Visvijyo Bhayata Sangam Munaya Samupasate. Your devotees or great saintly persons who desire to achieve the highest goal in life and who are completely free from all material desires or sense gratification, engage constantly in the transcendental service of your lotus feet. Generally, according to Shiva, it seems that saintly persons, pure devotees, and those who are wanting to get out of this material existence, they control their senses and do devotional service. Prabhupada also points that out. In general, most people think, I am this body, everything is connected to my body, right? You buy a car, that's my car. You buy a house, it's my house. Have a baby, newborn baby, oh, that's mine. You know, it's like that. So Prabhupada says everything is in relation to the body, and because of that, it is it is the symptom of material. So when you are talking to anyone or even doing anything, and if you find that you're always connecting with yourself and your body and so on, you should understand you're still attached to this material lifestyle. It's a symptom of material life. So, so one of the things that we have to think. But those, Prabhupada says, those who are munaya, that means saintly persons. In this case, he is indicating following the footsteps of Narad Muni or Acharyas. What do? They simply engage in the loving service of the Lord. And one of the criteria of doing loving service is no personal desires for sense gratification. It's always highlighted so that we remember that when we do service for Krishna, we should be careful whether we are doing it for our own pleasure or for the Lord's pleasure. Okay. So basically, they're not interested. Huh? They are always trying to constantly sing the glories of the Supreme Lord. Right? That is one of the symptoms of the Vesam Satatam. Right? Yeah. They always continuously glorify the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada continues, and some of the other qualities they have is they are free from dualities of material desire. Therefore, they are also known as Shreyas Kama. Okay, Shreyas Kama, which Lord Shiva is saying here. And part of what it does, Prabhupada translates that as they are desiring only ultimate auspiciousness, ultimate goal of life. So Shreyas Kama means not interested in material things, more so about spiritual things. Okay, and he further qualifies it because oftentimes you find people will think that if you follow Dharma, Artha, Kama, and even Moksha, some people that they think that is the only thing in life, you know. But devotees moksha is different from the moksha by the impersonalists like that. So therefore Srila Prabhupada makes that point also. They want to become one like the Supreme. And this is very prevalent in this age. People think they all God. Very common. You know, a lot of these people who think they believe in God, they say, oh, after all, we are all God. Like that. So real moksha, according to Mahaprabhu, is to take shelter of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead. So in the discussion between Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, there was a verse where he changes the word mukti pade, you know. So he thought the word mukti is not correct. So he changed it to bhakti. So then Mahaprabhu was chastising him in a nice way. Say you don't change the Srimad Bhagavatam. Tell him to just leave because for devotees mukti refers to the lotus feet of Mukunda. Mukti can only be given by Mukunda. Okay.
So it's in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
I think it must be from Bhagavatam.
It's Bhagavatam, yeah. So therefore, having explained all this, so Prabhupada re-emphasizes that if you want to be a pure devotee, then we shouldn't have any material desires. Shouldn't worry so much about just doing the religious activity or working hard for some money or sense gratification.
So I think this point makes it very clear. Achinta Bheda Bheda, right?
Yeah.
Because they say that we are God, but we say we are in spirit, we are
Spiritually
like him,
equal.
but we're not in quantity. That's
Yeah,
what
we
we
are
don't
not.
understand the point.
It's very hard though. It's very hard actually because they are so conditioned. Unless you can give them, unless you have the potency to bless them or give mercy, it's very hard for people to. So that's why association is important. So the longer new people come to temple and listen and keep listening, reading Prabhupada's book, they get purified. And then they start understanding the philosophy properly.
I
Right?
think that's why Prabhupada books are very important. This can change anybody's life. If you read sincerely, these books anybody can change. The hardcore atheist or
Hardcore, very hard.
but they can change it.
Yeah, by proper association, but it may take a while. If they are atheistic, but they are not offensive, then yeah.
Or like the Mayavadis.
Yeah,
They can also-
it's both. Some people just say they're atheists, but they really don't know what they're talking. And some say they're Mayavadis, and again they don't know. They're innocent people. So if they are not offenders, then it's okay.
Yeah.
You can come. Yeah.
Not offensive.
I talked to the one lady today. I met her, and she said, "I'm atheist." Right, and then I start talking. First, I said, "Are you believe in spirituality?" She said, "No, I'm atheist." Then we start talking. Then she told me, "I just connected with someone, my friend, on Facebook, and she have problem with the boyfriend and argue this one, this one." I said the woman should be very respected. I praise the woman a very high position in the society, and working hard, taking care of family, everything, and something like that. Slowly, I said, I have a book in India, very old book. I'm reading. I talk about the nature and karma and the good people and bad people. It's a very good book. I want to donate you for the New Year. I want to give you. She said, okay, then I give to her. It's okay, Guru.
Bhagavad Gita, wow, that's good.
I keep it one Bhavita.
Yeah, it's fine. As long as they get some benefit, hopefully they read.
Yeah.
Okay, text 7.
He's got the thieves and hundred.
Tvam Brahma Purnam Amritam Vigunam Vishokam Ananda Matram Avikaram Ananyatanya Vishvasya Hetuludaya Sthiti Samyamana Atmeshwaraschatarapekshatayanapeksha My Lord, you are the Supreme Brahman, complete in everything. Being completely spiritual, you are eternal, free from the material modes of nature, and full of transcendental bliss. Indeed, for you there is no question of lamentation. Since you are the supreme cause, the cause of all causes, nothing can exist without you. Yet we are different from you in a relationship of cause and effect, for in one sense, the cause and effect are different. You are the original cause of creation, manifestation, and annihilation, and you bestow benedictions upon all living entities. Everyone depends upon you for the results of his activities, but you are always independent. Again, further, it gives a further understanding about how the Lord is actually connected to the living entities in different manner. In the purport, again, Prabhupada, this is like many times in this canto, and Prabhupada quotes this verse 9. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. By my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. And then he says this explains the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference. Again, Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So it's very important for us to understand this concept, Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So it becomes easy to explain to people. Everything is the Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, yet the Supreme Person is differently situated from everything. Indeed, because the Lord is differently situated from everything material, He is the Supreme Brahman, the Supreme Cause, the Supreme Controller. And then later on, Prabhupada says, the devotee always prays to be free from all desires, because the Lord is free from desires. So by praying to the Lord, they also become free from all desires. And so when they engage in the Lord's service, they also become dependent on His service, but the Lord is independent. He does not depend on any service. And then so many things happening in this material world, but everything is depending on the sanction of the Lord. Nothing can be done independently. Okay, that's one of the important things to know. So, yeah, the Lord is independent. In the material world, everything is dependent. So, nothing can be done independently. But the Lord, He acts independently. Okay, even if we do some service, it's not like He requires our service, right? So, that's why He's independent. But we depend on the Lord's mercy for everything, including, as Prabhupada says, for liberation. But the Lord doesn't give because we ask. He's independent. So if He wants to give, He will give. So it's not like we say, you have to give me this. No, it's not like that. So then Prabhupada explains how those who get the mercy, they are known as Kripa Siddha. Okay. So mostly we are all in that category. Our spiritual master's mercy. We are not otherwise.
Sadhana Siddha. Can't do that.
Otherwise, we can't make advancement. we are hoping to be Kripa Siddhas. Yeah. But we are supposed to be Sadhana Siddhas. But we all of us are hoping to have some Kripa. Of course, coming to the stage of Kripa Siddha also takes a lot of effort. And so Prabhupada says that it takes many lifetimes. But again, he told us not to take many lifetimes, which means we have to, in this very lifetime, try to go back to Godhead.
Kripa Siddha also will be a devotee's mercy, not directly the Lord's mercy.
Through the devotees, it could be the Lord can Himself give mercy. Even for us also, the Lord can directly give mercy. But in general, we are not so fortunate. It's through our spiritual master and other devotees.
For Ajamila, it is directly Lord giving mercy.
No, it came from the Yamadutas, Vishnu Dutas.
But they're all said,
yeah, it's a holy name. Yeah. What is it said? You were saying?
No, I'm saying in that case, it's not devotee, it is Lord Himself.
It's Lord Himself. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, the one of the points Srila Prabhupada also emphasized, he's been emphasizing it for a few verses, few chapters. Nirashishaha, freedom from expectations for results. Okay. Text 8. Ekastvameva sadasadvayam cha
Ekastvameva sadashadsvayamadvayam cha
Swarnam krita kritameva navastu bedaha
Swarnam krita kritamiveha navastu bedaha
Ajnanatasvayi janarvihito vikalpo
Ajnanatasvahi janai vihito vikalpo
Yasmad guna vyatikaro nirupadikasya
Yasmad gunavyadikaro upadikasya.
My dear Lord, your Lordship alone is the cause and the effect. Therefore, although you appear to be two, you are the absolute one. As there is no difference between the gold of a golden ornament and the gold in a mine. There is no difference between cause and effect. Both of them are the same. Only because of ignorance, the people concoct differences and dualities. You're free from material contamination, and since the entire cosmos is caused by you and cannot exist without you, it is an effect of your transcendental qualities. Thus, the conception that Brahman is true and the world false cannot be maintained. What is that? Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. So it's not true. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Prabhupada says, that the living entities are representations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's marginal potency, whereas the various bodies accepted by the living entities are products of the material energy. According to how you associate, what is that? Bhungte Prakriti Stohi. Karanam Gunasamsya.
So the circulation.
Yeah. Thus, the body is considered material and the soul is considered spiritual. The origin of them both, however, is the same Supreme Personality of God. So from him comes the material energy as well as the living entity. So he expands into the Bahiranga Shakti and then Tatastha Shakti also. But the Tatastha Shakti is covered by the Bahiranga Shakti. So later on in the next paragraph, Prabhupada continues, since the energy and the energetic are not different, because they come from the same source, and since the material and marginal energies are both energies of the Supreme Energetic, the Supreme Lord, ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is everything. Okay? Everything is coming from Him. They may change, but they are still from Him. In this regard, the example may be given of gold that has not been molded and gold that has been molded into various ornaments. A gold earring and the gold in a mine are different only as cause and effect. Otherwise, they are the same. And then Prabhupada says, none of these energies, therefore, should be considered false. Why? Because the Mayavadis, they differentiate between Brahman and Maya. But they do this because they are in ignorance. They don't understand the fact that everything is an expansion of the Lord. Okay? So then, Srimad Veera Raghava Acharya, another Vaishnava Acharya, Srila Prabhupada quotes from him, the cosmic manifestation is described as Sat and Asat, as Chit and Achit. Matters are Chit, and the living force is Chit. But their origin is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in whom there is no difference between matter and spirit. According to this conception, the cosmic manifestation consisting of both matter and spirit is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetaraha. This cosmic manifestation is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although it appears different from Him. So again and again, Prabhupada is trying to discuss what? What is he trying to discuss here? Yes, Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So we can understand that clearly. Sometimes we think we know, and then when we ask to explain, we like, what is it? Yeah. So the energy is all coming from Him, both material and spiritual. But we shouldn't get confused that the living entity is covered by the matter, but it is also coming from the Lord's inferior energy. And then in the in the next paragraph, the Lord says, Prabhupada quotes from the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Maya tatam idam sarvam, in my impersonal feature, I am spread throughout the world. That means He is pervading the entire material universe. Therefore, this world is not different from Him in that sense. Yeah.
So this means the Brahman references is talking about on which
Yes,
the
yes.
universe is based. Right?
Yes.
That's 10% energy.
Yes, that's right. So his point is there's no difference between him and the energy.
Sorry.
That's okay.
USB so.
So far, USB. So, if you remember in the first canto, Vadanti Tat Tattva Vidum Tattvam Yajnana Margayam. So, the Brahman is also an aspect of the God. Okay? But they are all coming from the same person. Therefore, this world is not different from him. That's the main thing we have to understand. It's a transformation of one of his energies that is manifested as the material world or universe. The difference, Prabhupada says, is a difference in names. Uh, for example, whether we speak of gold earrings, gold bangles, or gold necklaces, ultimately they are all gold. In a similar way, all the different manifestations of matter and spirit are ultimately one in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they are not Godhead. Okay? So don't think they are all. Ekam eva dvitiyam brahma. This is the Vedic version. What Prabhupada is trying to teach us is to understand what oneness means. Okay, so the oneness means everything comes from the Supreme Brahma, the original person. Again, the example is gold earring and gold mine. Okay, and then he quotes from the Vaiseshika philosophers who differ because they have Mayavadi conception. They say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Again, the same thing. They say it's the absolute truth is real, but everything is false. But it's coming from a real source, so how can it be false? Prabhupada is asking. How is that possible?
Logical.
Yeah, it's not logical. The Jagat is an emanation from Brahman, therefore the Jagat is also truth. It is just temporary. This is what they fail to understand, the temporary nature of the material energy. What they are thinking is it's only here for some time and that's it, no more. It's false. No, but it's a real thing, manifestation and goes away. Just like our body is here and then after a few years the body is gone. Does it mean you don't exist anymore? No. Was the body real? Yeah. Did you have emotions? Did you go through difficulties? Yes. So all those are real experiences. One cannot say they are imaginary experience. So in the same way, we have to understand that this understanding of Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya is not correct. Yeah. Vaishnavas, therefore, Prabhupada says, do not consider the Jagat to be Mithya. Rather, they regard everything as reality in connection with the Supreme Personality of God here. And then, very interestingly, Prabhupada then quotes this verse from the Nectar of Devotion. Basically, everything is an emanation of the Lord. So he says, we use everything in the service of the Lord to purify it. Just like in Ganga, you offer the same water to Ganga to offer. We don't have anything else to offer. So the same way, by doing that, we realize that relationship with the Supreme Lord. That's the idea behind it. So when we start connecting with Krishna, we then give up personal sense enjoyment. Okay? When you understand everything belongs to Krishna, where's the question of enjoying? Then we think, no, it's the Lord's, then let him enjoy. So then Prabhupada says, right, whatever is favorable for the rendering of service to the Lord should be accepted and should not be rejected as a material thing. Okay, I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you all, but many years ago, one devotee, they bought a place to set up a temple. So it was a big house, huge house. Can easily accommodate like 150, 200 people. And there was a huge air conditioning unit. So then he was thinking, this is Maya to have air conditioning. So he took it and gave it away for $50.
Oh my God.
Sold it for the iron scrap. Like so the temple president, no who can argue, right? But when the summer came, everybody was sweating and the whole floor was wet. So then he's like, yeah, we need something. So the congregation said, we need something. We can't come like that.
Is it India?
No, anyway, don't know anywhere. So then
He bought the same one.
no, he didn't buy the same one. He bought just a
won't
water cooler.
Water cooler.
we can see, sometimes we don't have the capacity, or we don't want to understand, can this be connected to Krishna? We think we know better, sometimes. And we make bad choices like that. So they're thinking that is mithya. This is useless. We are devotees, we shouldn't have air conditioning. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
We only depend on Krishna.
Yeah.
No air conditioning.
Depend on Krishna. No, it's ridiculous. So you can't even preach, everybody is perspiring. It's a very humid place also. So anyway, it was like that.
But if we say, you're truly depending on Krishna for everything, that's also like putting Krishna to work for us.
Yeah, but that's also not our philosophy.
Correct.
When we say we depend on Krishna, means we put in the effort.
Correct.
Yeah, the effort must be
That's
there.
my point. Otherwise, it's
Yes.
like, employing Krishna.
Yeah.
It's like not reading and then going to the exam and saying, okay, Krishna.
Krishna. Yeah. Then you like, Krishna, I don't know this question. Give me the answer. And then Krishna didn't help me. Yeah. And Prabhupada gives a very simple example of how to use things in the service. Because if someone gives us a flower and then we take it and smell it for our enjoyment, then that's sense gratification. But if you take the same flower and give it to Krishna, then it becomes devotional service. It's just so different. One is material, another one becomes spiritual. And that's why it's very inconceivable.
Still, you get to smell the flower.
Yeah,
But
you can
after-
get after that.
After.
Yeah, but it becomes transcendental. Okay, otherwise it becomes material. Prabhupada says, food taken and cooked for oneself is material. But food cooked for the Supreme Lord is spiritual prasada. So, and then he qualifies this. This is a question of realization. That's a very important point he's highlighting. Right? That means you have to, or we all have to come to that point of understanding. I want Krishna to first accept this. Then I know it is spiritualized. It has to be there, Even though you may like, for example, you may like some rasgulla. So you make rasgulla because you like it. But still you have to offer it to Krishna. Even though sometimes people say, but you're doing it for yourself. That may be. But you have the
desire to offer
to Krishna. You have that
That is,
so you are connecting, which is what Prabhupada is saying. Yuktam Vairagyam. So that is actually you are renouncing your desires like that. So if you continue like that, you come to a point where you don't want anything, You're just thinking, what should I cook for Krishna? Will he like this or will he like that?
Yeah.
It's totally different from, actually, I like this, so I'm going to offer.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's like that. I like it, so I'm offering it. Later on, you come and think, what would Krishna like today? You stop thinking about what you want, and then you make, okay, I think this is a good plan, I'll make this. And then after that, you eat and you say, oh, that's nice. I want to improve like that. Maybe I should change the recipe a little bit like that. So that means you're always trying to please Krishna. This is the question of realization. The Prabhupada highlights that. Okay. So if you always do this diligently, whatever you get, even like if you buy a car, you bring it to the temple to do some abhishek or whatever, right? Aarti. So that means you are trying to connect it with Krishna. Nirbandha, Krishna Sambandha. Everything you have to try to connect. Doesn't matter. Somehow or other, whatever you get, you even if somebody gives you something new, you think, how can I use it in Krishna service, right? For example, you get a new phone. First thing you do is
Take a picture of Krishna.
take a picture of
That's what I
Krishna,
do.
or you put the lectures and listen like that. And then after that, you can start using. No, it's true. The more you do that, the more you become sensitive to these things. You awaken that
Krishna
consciousness in you to the higher level. Yes, Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So that's what Prabhupada wants us to do. It's a question of realization.
Should become wired in. It should become wired in.
Yes, it should be part of you. It should be, because it is part of you.
Yeah.
We are all spirit souls, and we already have the love of God. It's just a question of awakening. So yeah, so this is why it's not so much as you can memorize the 8th chapter or the 12th chapter of 8th canto and bara, 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 and then explain very beautifully. It's not that, That is nice and that's wonderful also. But more important is what are you making to change your heart? It's more important. No? You have to start tweaking. If you don't start sooner, it's difficult later. You have to start this as soon as you understand you are a devotee, you want to go back to God. You start making changes in your life. Don't wait until I'll do it when I'm 20 years, 30 years. No, it doesn't work like that. Prabhupada always says, right? He says in a magazine that the husband is in the hospital, the cartoon, and then the wife is saying chant, chant, chant. And then the wife he says, and then Prabhupada says he's using so much energy to say can't. Why can't he just say the Lord's name?
Somewhere I heard some devotee saying, for a non-devotee, Maya convinces not to surrender, and for a devotee, Maya convinces to postpone the surrender. Because to postpone the surrender. Yes. So because we know we need to surrender, but it convinces us, okay, we'll do it later.
Yeah, so that is the bewildering potency. So you have to be careful. But this is very nice when Prabhupada gives this small things he puts here and then in his purports. To think, why is he saying that? Then you realize, well, am I realized? I'm struggling still. Like that. And then Prabhupada also talks about how other people look at this spirituality. So he says, those who are not advanced in proper knowledge make distinctions because of the interactions of the three modes of material nature.
So that's why I think I understand everything is actually spiritual, but because of our consciousness, it becomes
your interaction with the three modes of material nature. If you think carefully, I have to connect with Krishna, then the three modes will not touch you. They will watch you only. They're waiting to see when you're being a nonsense. Then they cover you.
And then everything becomes spiritual.
Yes. Yeah. So it is a question of how much you're interacting, right? The more you associate material nature, the less you are inclined to do devotional practice. It's a fact. This is not a big science. For most of us, this is a fact. We know that. We ourselves experience those things, in our lives. Then suddenly you think, oh my God, I didn't do for 1 week this thing. I didn't read Prabhupada's books. I didn't do this. For those who are initiated, they will struggle to chant, but they will do their 16, but it's a question of counting only. It's not immersive, giving time for the holy name like that. So therefore, why? Because the three modes are acting, right? Sometimes it's Rajaguna, sometimes it's Sattva-guna, sometimes it's ignorance. Right? So you see, they are going on waves, Tarangini. Sometimes they are like, oh, I'm doing so good. Oh, no, it's too busy, Prabhu. All this. It's a question of how much you're getting. Huh? Yeah, Tarangi.
It's like a Seattle downtown street,
That's right.
So going around in the chariot of mind.
Yes.
Manoratha.
Yeah, Manoratha. That's a good point.
Rampal Maharaj said in the peaks and valleys and plateau.
Yes. That's what it is.
You get suddenly a peak, then you get a valley, then the plateau, then again.
Yeah. We are not able to sustain because we are always associating too much with the modes. If you are associating too much with the modes, it's not possible.
The peaks are not coming.
Valleys and valleys.
Maybe on a big valley.
More valley again.
Well, even in a valley, there's a peak.
Yeah.
And then you go further down. Yeah.
Downtrend.
Yeah. So try not to be
Kidding.
going happily down, like Six Flags, right? Wow, so yeah, all waiting for the thing, to go down. So then he quotes now. In this regard, Jiva Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami says that although the sun is the only light, the sunshine, which is exhibited in 7 colors and darkness, which is the absence of sunshine, are not different from the sun. For without the existence of the sun, such differentiations cannot exist. So again, he wants to make us understand the differentiations is also part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, like that. So finally, in the last paragraph, Prabhupada says, the last sentence, there is no existence separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? You have to be very clear about that. We are here because of the Supreme Lord. It cannot be separate existence. So to be with Krishna means to be doing devotional service. So prioritize again devotional service before you venture into other things in a day-to-day basis somehow. Text 9. Tvam brahma kechid avayanti uta dharma meke.
Tvam brahma kechid avayanti uta dharma meke.
Eke param sarasato purusham paresham.
Eke param sarasato purusham paresham.
Anye vayanti navashakti yutam param tvam.
Anye vayanti navashakti yutam param tvam.
Kechin mahapurusham avyayam atmatantram.
Kechin mahapurusham avyayam atmatantram.
Those who are known as the impersonalist Vedantists regard you as the impersonal Brahman. Others, known as the Mimamsaka philosophers, regard you as religion. That means they think only in karma kanda aspect. The Sankhya philosophers regard you as the transcendental person who is beyond Prakriti and Purusha and who is a controller of even the demigods. The followers of the codes of devotional service, known as the Pancharatras, regard you as being endowed with 9 different potencies. And the Patanjala philosophers, the followers of Patanjali Muni, regard you as the supreme independent personality of Godhead who has no equal or superior. Patanjala is the yogis, no?
Param 9 potencies. It says 9 potencies.
9 potencies. Nava Shakti Yutam.
You only know 3 or 4, right?
You only know 3 of them.
Antaranga, Bahiranga, Tatastha.
No.
3.
Let me see what does. Verse 9. Huh?
Yeah.
Let me see.
And the 6 opulences.
6 opulences are those, no?
No, you know the opulences, 6 opulences.
No, this is energy.
6 plus 3.
Ishwarasya.
Okay,
Like that.
it's endowed with 9 Shaktis. Vimala, Udkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Pravi, Satya, Ishana, and Anugraha. Okay, these are the 9 Shaktis. If you look at the around Mahavishnu, there are 9 potencies around.
What are they in English, if you can understand?
They are personalities.
Center one?
Yeah,
it is there.
the jnana, kriya, actions, and different aspects of things. I do not have the Sanskrit for each of them, but you can find out from Sanskrit scholars.
Yeah.
But there are 9 potencies surrounding him. So like
So that is the devotees, right? 9 potencies.
9 potencies.
And the yogis can.
And in the Vaikuntha, these 9 potencies are personalities.
So it's basically simple. No, he's a supreme energetic, and then everything is a
Yes,
spiritual material.
that's what
That's simple.
Shiva is just explaining that, that so far is giving all the technical aspects that everything in this material world, whether it's apart from it, still is connected to the Lord. And he's glorifying him in different ways, like that. Okay, so here he's talking about how different people view him. Okay, but still it's the same person. Right? Even if the karma mimamsa person don't accept God, still who's rewarding them?
Some supreme person.
Yes, he sanctions it, no? karma and so on. Text 10. Naham parayurshayo namarichi mukya.
Naham parayurshayo namarichi mukya.
Jananti yat virachitam kalu sattva sargaha.
Jananti yad virachitam kalu sattva sarga.
Yanmayaya mushita chetasa isha daitya.
Yanmayaya mushita chetasa isha daitya.
Martyadaya kimuta shashvat abhadra vritaha.
Martyadaya kimuta shashvat abhadra.
O my Lord, I who am considered to be the best of the demigods, and Lord Brahma and the great rishis, headed by Marichi, are born of the mode of goodness. Nonetheless, we are bewildered by your illusory energy and cannot understand what this creation is. Aside from us, what is to be said of others like the demons and human beings, who are in the base modes of material nature, Rajaguna and Tamaguna? How will they know you? So his point is, even those situated in mode of goodness have difficulty understanding the Supreme Lord. It's not a question of those who are in goodness can understand. No. Ultimately, it has to be the Lord's mercy or the devotee's mercy to understand him. So just because you have the books and you read Prabhupada's book, Prabhupada is giving some mercy. But until you surrender, the realization won't come. Okay? So that's how it is. So therefore, for such people, like, people who don't even follow anything, for them it is impossible. And then Prabhupada says, for the present day, the Pancharatriki Vidhi, as enunciated by Narada, is the only hope, which is what we are all doing. We are following this Pancharatriki Vidhi. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore has quoted the following verse from the Brahma Yamala. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidyam Vina Aikantiki Hare Bhakti Utpatayaiva Kalpate. It's a good verse to remember. Devotional service of the Lord that ignores the authorized Vedic literatures like the Upanishads, Puranas, and Narada Pancharatra is simply an unnecessary disturbance in society. So it must be backed up by Shastra. Don't concoct your own things, right? Like we were talking the other day, one lady who's calling herself Mata or something. Amrita Mata, is it?
There is a lot. Amritanandamayi.
Mata.
Karunamayi.
Yeah. So, but they have no parampara or anything. They are self-proclaimed transcendentalists. Yeah.
Gurus.
Gurus also. Yeah. So like that. So if you don't have all these Pancharatrika Viddhis to follow, then it's simply a disturbance in society. Truly. They just create chaos. They follow their own standards. Even now, if you go to Vrindavan in Radhakund, there are so many Babajis, they do their own things. Because they think they are very elevated and so much so you do not know who is authentic there. You have to be so careful. So that's another reason why we are told not to go there and associate with such people. You'll be screwed up. You don't even know what is happening.
Because most 90% will be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. You don't know who's following properly. So then Prabhupada says, in this age of Kali, so many gurus have sprung up. And because they do not refer to the Shruti, Smriti, Purana, the Pancharatri Kiviti, they are creating a great disturbance in the world in regard to understanding the absolute truth. Just like there's one person, he calls himself Sadguru,
Yeah.
Very, very popular around the world now. But he just twists words,
Yeah.
He's very expert, and so much so.
Vocabulary,
So people like him so much. He even go to the United Nations and he spoke.
He is now working on curriculum for the children's children
Hopefully he does good, but
in
the
India.
point is, how is he following what? He says things, he twists real philosophy also. Vedic culture also is twist.
I just read somewhere in
Yeah.
the internet that they are suspecting that he killed his wife.
Yeah, that's been going on for a long time.
I just saw that.
Follow of Lord Shiva.
Follow a lot. But whatever it is, but it's not. Yeah, this is very expert.
It's
Empowered,
power.
Wrong reasons. Whatever. Yes, very important.
There is one more, right, Prabhu? He created his own country.
He did.
That is different.
That is Nityananda. Kailash.
Country.
Yeah, they call it Kailash.
Kailash.
Yes.
He called it Kailash.
Yeah, he says he is Param Shiva.
Maybe he might become a ghost.
Yeah, possible, but but you can see, right? So anyway, otherwise, if we don't follow properly, it might take many lifetimes for us to come to the proper conclusion, which is what Prabhupada explains. Coming to understanding, coming to surrendering to Krishna will be such a difficult endeavor. So the whole idea the emphasis here is don't not follow what Prabhupada is giving. Try to embrace it now. Otherwise, you can be misled by so many people. And they are very charismatic. Very charismatic.
So many people too, like, they don't like organized religion.
That is true.
That's why these people have also become so much famous because of not like propounding something
When
proper.
he is organizing it,
In one sense.
Personality cult.
There has to be some organization.
Yeah. Nothing can go on. Because ultimately the guy will think, if I want, his followers will say, you have to go all over the world, and then they'll organize it.
He also has organization. They call it Isha Foundation.
Yes.
They have schools all over
That's
India. And
Now they caught the Kalki Bhagwan, right? 5,000 crores or something.
There was an article in newspaper once. There were 12 Kalkis fighting in court. Who is real Kalki? Once upon a time. Yeah, there was
Vote will decide.
some years back.
Vote लगाएंगे सबको.
So, Prabhu, one thing is like people are seeing that these are all like everybody has fallen down, right?
Yes.
This Kalki, they caught him like 3-4 weeks back, 5,000 crores. He had, and then
Now they don't believe in God anymore because of all this.
Nityananda, they caught him, and then now again he has more followers actually after that. So, and these are all educated people, bro. Like,
Are you sure they educate?
actually from Amazon.
Many are Americans.
They gave up everything and then they just went.
Well, Prabhupada says, those who want sense gratification in a transcendental, core transcendental way, they look for all this. For cheaters, there are cheaters.
Yeah, that's why. You want to be cheated, then you cheat.
They don't, it's a lot of people don't like it when you say you cannot eat meat, cannot this. They immediately you can see in the face.
Maybe these people are agents of Maya because
Yes.
Maya is distracting these people from coming to real spiritual path.
Maybe you can say like, or they are all
That's why they are
from lower planetary system. Asuras coming to destroy real religion.
Brahma
Yeah. Yeah.
Hitler was powerful.
Yeah, very good. Text 11. Satvam samhitam adastiti janmanasham.
Satvam samhitam adastiti janmanasham.
Bhute hitam cha jagato bhavabandha moksha.
Bhute hitam cha jagato bhavabandha moksha.
Vayu yata vishatikam cha characharakyam.
Vayu yata vishatikam cha characharakyam.
Sarvam tadatmakataya vagamo varunsi.
Sarvam tadatmakataya vagamo varunsi.
My Lord, you are the supreme knowledge personified. You know everything about this creation and its beginning, maintenance, and annihilation. And you know all the endeavors made by the living entities, by which they are either implicated in this material world or liberated from it. As the air enters the vast sky and also enters the bodies of all moving, and non-moving entities, you are present everywhere, and therefore you are the knower of all. Again, Srila Prabhupada quotes from Brahma Samhita about how the Lord is existing in every universe and every atom. Two verses he quotes to show his unlimited potency. And in the spiritual world, he also expands as his Ladini potency, who then expands into her companions with the 64 arts. And in the last paragraph, Prabhupada explains Krishna. Although Govinda is always present in his abode, Goloka eva nivasati akilatma bhuta. He is simultaneously present everywhere, which is Paramatma expansion as well as Brahman. Nothing is unknown to him and nothing can be hidden from him. The example given here compares the Lord to the air, right? Air is everywhere, which is within the Vaska and within every body, but still is different from everything. So the air in the body is in what form? Subtle prana.
Fire.
Ten. So it is not like the air you see, it's a different way the air is. No? Text 12. Avataramaya drista Ramamanasya te gunai Soham tadrastum vichami Teyo Shiva Burdritam. My Lord, I have seen all kinds of incarnations you have exhibited by your transcendental qualities, and now that you have appeared as a beautiful young woman, I wish to see that form of your Lordship. So now is what he wants to, that's the real thing.
Make the request.
He wants to see the Mohini Murti, but at the same time, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which I said earlier, explains that Lord Shiva wanted to see the form, but he was thinking it can't be that great because the demons are foolish and stupid. So they get bewildered. But my wife is Maya, I'm not going to get bewildered. So that the Lord was thinking, I have to teach him a lesson. So he's asking to see his beautiful, amazing form. He's asking. So who else asked the Lord something similar also? Want to see his amazing energy?
Markandeya Rishi.
Narayan Rishi, he asked them, yeah? And then what did Narayan Rishi do? They smiled. They were thinking you're asking for trouble. Because he said he wanted to see the material energy, how it works, and then they just smiled because it's really difficult to understand. Devi Yeshu Gunamaya, very difficult to know. So here Lord Shiva wants to see the Mohini Murti. Text 13. Kena sammohita daitya Payitas chamritam suraha Tadidrikshavo ayata Param kautuhalam hinaha. My Lord, we have come here desiring to see that form of your Lordship which you showed to the demons to captivate them completely, and in this way enable the demigods to drink nectar. I am very eager to see that form. Text 14. Sri Shuka Vacha Evam Abhyatito Vishnu Bhagavan Shulapanina Rahasya Bhava Gambiram Girisham Pratyabhasata. Shukadev Goswami said, when Lord Vishnu was thus requested by Lord Shiva, who carries a trident in his hand, he smiled with gravity and replied to Lord Shiva as follows. So the Lord is also Yogeshwara. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna in the last verse. No? So everyone wants this potency that the Lord has, yogis especially. So here Lord Shiva wanted to see, Prabhupada says, the Mohini Murti, which was captivating the entire world. And Lord Vishnu was gravely thinking of how to captivate Lord Shiva also. Therefore, the word Bhava Gambiram is used here. Bhava Gambiram means he was quite serious about it. Gravity. The illusory material energy is represented by Durga Devi, who is the wife of Girisha or Lord Shiva. Durga Devi could not captivate Lord Shiva's mind. But now the Lord Shiva wanted to see Lord Vishnu's feminine form. Lord Vishnu, by his mystic power, would assume a form that would captivate even Lord Shiva. Therefore, Lord Vishnu was grave and at the same time was smiling. He was thinking it's going to really, bewilder Lord Shiva. What's going to happen? Text 15. Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Kautuhalaya Daityanam.
Kautuhalaya Daityanam.
Yoshidvesho Maya Dritaha.
Yoshidvesho Maya Dritaha.
Pasyata Sura Karyani.
Pasyata Sura Karyani.
Gatepi Yusabhajane.
Gatepi Yusabhajane.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, when the demons took away the jug of nectar, I assumed the form of a beautiful woman to bewilder them by directly cheating them and thus to act in the interests of the demigod. So he's giving his reasons for doing that. So in other words, Prabhupada writes, those who maintain a demoniac mentality are bewildered by the beauty of a woman. But those who advance in Krishna consciousness or even those in the platform of goodness are not bewildered. That's interesting. So if you are in the platform of even goodness, you are not easily bewildered. It means you have the gravity to hold your consciousness properly. So whenever you're bewildered, you must understand you're not in the mode of goodness, at least not in the mode. Right? So always, that is why regulation is very important. And practicing all the regulated principles, it makes you at least sustain yourself in the transcendental goodness. No? The Supreme Personality of Godhead knew that because Lord Shiva is not an ordinary person, he cannot be bewildered even by the most beautiful woman. Cupid himself tried to invoke Lord Shiva's lusty desires in the presence of Parvati. But Lord Shiva was never agitated. Rather, the blazing fire from Lord Shiva's eyes turned Cupid to ashes. So what happened to Cupid? Yeah, then?
He came as a Lord Krishna's son.
No?
Yeah. Yes.
Pradyumna.
Yes, he took the potency. He was empowered by the Lord. Therefore, Lord Vishnu had to think twice about what kind of beautiful form would bewilder even Lord Shiva. Consequently, he was smiling gravely, as stated in the previous verse. Rahasya Bhava Gambiram. A beautiful woman generally cannot induce Lord Shiva to be lusty. But Lord Vishnu was considering whether there was any form of woman who could enchant him. So he was smiling, thinking he's never, disturbed by any woman. That's very interesting. Text 16. Tatteham darshayishyami
Tatteham darshayishyami
Diksho surasattama
Diksho surasattama
Kaminam bahumantavyam
Kaminam bahumantavyam
Sankalpa prabhavodayam
Sankalpa prabhavodayam.
O best of the demigods, I shall now show you my form that is very much appreciated by those who are lusty. Since you want to see that form, I shall reveal it in your presence. Lord Shiva is desiring to see Lord Vishnu reveal the most attractive and beautiful form of a woman was certainly a joking affair. Lord Shiva knew that he could not be agitated by any so-called beautiful woman. The deities may have been bewildered, he thought, but since even the demigods could not be agitated, what to speak of me, who am the best of all the demigods. So he's kind of proud. However, because Lord Shiva wanted to see Lord Vishnu's form as a woman, Lord Vishnu decided to impersonate a woman and show him a form that would immediately put him in an ocean of lusty desires. In effect, therefore, Lord Vishnu told Lord Shiva, I will show you my form as a woman, and if you become agitated by lusty desires, do not blame me. The attractive features of a woman are appreciated by those who are affected by lusty desires. But those who are above such desires, who are on the platform of Krishna consciousness, are very difficult to bewilder. Nonetheless, by the supreme desire of the personality of Godhead, everything can be done. This was to be a test of whether Lord Shiva could remain unagitated. Similarly, Narada Muni also got bewildered. He wanted to marry some woman, and so he went to Narayan and said, "Make me look like you." So he said, "I want to look like Hari." So another word for Hari also means look like a monkey. So the Lord says, "So be it." So he goes to the Swayamvara and he's standing very proudly. So the princess comes, looks and start laughing. And then when Vishnu comes and she garlands, he gets very angry. Then he goes and complains to Narayan, "How dare you do this? I asked you, I want to look like you." So the Lord said, "Anyway, I was worried about the way you are going out of what you are supposed to be doing devotionally." So sometimes, we think we are good, the Lord will arrange for us to become humble. We can't think we are best. Yeah, after practicing for a while, sometimes devotees think they've conquered everything. Yeah, this is a nice devotee. He was doing book distribution. And one day, he's young, very young. So one day they had this like rock festivals, So they go for book. So he went there with the group of devotees to do books. Then they all came back in the night, around 7 but he never came back. So after about a month later, or 2 months later, he came back to the ashram. So they asked what happened, He said he went, he met some friends, and then they were talking, and then after a while they asked him to smoke, and he said he foolishly smoked, and then he met some girl and then left. So he was thinking that he cannot be bewildered by all his friends and so on. But we are easily bewildered by the material energy. So you shouldn't test the material energy. Yeah? We should sometimes devotees say, "Oh, I'm okay now. For now, last 1 year, I'm cool. So then now I want to go preach, So sometimes you see new devotees, they preach to young girls, beautiful girls. So you'll think, what is happening? I remember also one of my godbrothers preaching to one girl so much. So I said to him, you be careful, too much, you may get attached to her. Then he said, no, there's nothing wrong. He married her actually. Yeah, and then after that he told that, I knew you will tell me that, and that's why I didn't want to talk to you about it. He said he already decided he wanted to marry her, but he had hell with her. Yeah, recently, 2 years ago, he divorced. She became a drunk. Not that she's a bad person, but the way you associate with the material nature, energy, and so on, will make you make mistakes. So, and then he's a good devotee, but she went after a truck driver. Yeah, this is in America. But you can see the energy is so powerful that she couldn't even judge properly after that. So therefore, here we see now Shiva couldn't be bewildered by his own wife, but he's trying to test the Lord. So the Lord is showing him, okay, let's see. So it's important lessons, we shouldn't just take it as a pastime purpose. We should say, I'm also weak. I can be easily bewildered like that. Therefore, every morning, all of us should pray to the Lord and say, don't let me fall down. Yes, we should. Yeah. Prabhupada once had a situation in a class. He said, I will never fall down. And then after class, Prabhupada went in front of Dede and was like praying very silly. So one of his assistants was falling. I said, Prabhupada, what you are praying so deeply? I said, I'm praying that I will never fall down. Then he said, Prabhupada, you say you'll never fall down. Why are you praying? He said, that is why I'm not falling down.
I'm praying.
Because I'm praying. So from our point, we may take it or we forget, no, the seriousness. But Srila Prabhupada was teaching us, never. You should always pray. Every day you pray, please Lord, don't let me fall down, don't let me make mistakes. Like that. And then before you sleep, say again. So this is constantly you will be praying like that, don't let me fall down. Otherwise you'll think, I'm okay. I'm okay, you're okay. Yeah.
Prabhupada said, I'm okay, you're not okay.
Yeah, exactly. Papa is okay. That's right. So we have to be very careful. It's a good lesson. See, his words are so nice.
Especially like pride, I mean, like because we are like experiencing some success on and off.
Yes.
And when you are even talking to devotees who are like, let's say newish,
and you think
you know more philosophy.
Yeah, that's the thing. You become jnani, but you are not becoming a devotee. So that is why you have to be very careful. You know the knowledge. The knowledge is to help someone come out of the entanglement, not to show off the knowledge. You are making yourself go deeper into entanglement. So be careful. Just because maybe you'll go and read Jiva Goswami's Sandarbha and then you start quoting left, right, and center, and it'll make sense. You'll be but then you'll be thinking, see how good I am. Yeah. And then you'll say, I'll do kathas, 7-day katha, 10-day katha. And then after that, there's devotees like that from India, right? They'll come to US just for green card and stuff like that. So they do kathas. Everyone is say, why don't you apply for me this, that, get me this, get me that. So in the beginning they may have been sincere, but then as they get all this allurement, then they've lost it. So it's very tricky, very tricky. So be careful and always pray for protection. As devotees, like when Prabhupada was a little younger, his father would always tell whoever comes to his home, whether they are real sadhus or not, what would he ask?
Blessings of Radharani.
Yeah, bless my son to be a
Devotee of
Radharani. Yeah. He never asked for anything, so he was always asking for the right things. Same, we should always pray for the right things. Alright, text 17. Shri Shuka Vacha.
Shri Shuka Vacha.
Iti Bruvano Bhagavan.
Iti Bruvano Bhagavan.
Tatre Vantaradiyata.
Tatre Vantaradiyata.
Sarvatascharayam Chakshur.
Sarvatascharayam Chakshur.
Bhavaste Sahomaya.
Bhavaste Sahomaya.
Sukadeva Goswami continued, after speaking in this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, immediately disappeared, and Lord Shiva remained there with Uma, looking for him all around with moving eyes. So Lord just disappeared. They are like, where did he go? Text 18. Tato dashopa vanivarstriyam. Vichitra pushparuna pallavadrume.
Vichitra pushparuna pallavadrume.
Vikridatim kanduka lila yalasa.
Vikridatim kanduka lila yalasa.
Dukula paryastanitam mekalam.
Dukula paryastanitam mekalam.
Thereafter, in a nice forest nearby, full of trees, with reddish pink leaves and varieties of flowers, Lord Shiva saw a beautiful woman playing with a ball. Her hips were covered with a shining sari and ornamented with a belt. You'll notice usually the heavenly ladies are playing with a ball. Usually ball or tennis racket and ball. So they say tennis game is actually the same thing. That when ladies play, the men all watch, like this. And they get bewildered. Text 19. Avartanodvartana kampita stana.
Avartanodvartana kampita stana.
Pristaharo Rubarai Pade Pade
Prakrishtaharo Hare Pade Pade
Prabhajyamanam Iva Madhyataschalam
Prabhajyamana Vivamajyatachalam
Pada Pravalam Nayatim Tatastata
Pada Pravalam Nayatim Tatastata.
Because the ball was falling down and bouncing up as she played with it, her breasts trembled, and because of the weight of those breasts and her heavy flower garlands, her waist appeared to be all but breaking at every step, as her two soft feet, which were reddish like coral, moved here and there. This is a description of Lord in this amazing form. Text 20. Dikshu Brahmatkanduka Chapalai Brisham
Dikshu Brahmatkanduka Vrisham
Prodvignatara Lola Lochanam
Prodvignatara Lochanam
Swakarna Vibrajita Kundalola
Swakarna Vibrajita Kundalola
Kapola Nila Lakamanditananam
Kapola Nila Manditanam.
The woman's face was decorated by broad, beautiful, restless eyes. That means she's always looking here and there, restless, which moved as the ball bounced here and there from her hand. The two brilliant earrings on her ears decorated her shining cheeks like bluish reflections. Must be a big earring, yeah? And the hair scattered on her face made her even more beautiful to see. Text 21. Slata dukulam kabarim cha vichyutam
Slatadukulam Kabarim cha Vichyutam
sannayatim vamakarena valguna
Sannayatim Vamakarena Valguna
viniknatim anyakarena kandukam
Vinignatim Manyakarena Kandukam
vimohayantim jagat atma mayaya.
Vimohayantim Jagatmaya.
As she played with the ball, the sari covering her body became loose and her hair scattered. She tried to bind her hair with her beautiful left hand, and at the same time she played with the ball by striking it with her right hand. This was so attractive that the Supreme Lord, by his internal potency, in this way captivated everyone. So this is really, very, very hard to understand this captivation. It's really his internal potency. No one can escape this. So that is why Sukadeva Goswami is saying it is so attractive. In this way, captivated everyone. Nobody can't do. They're like stunned. Like wow. Either in Italy or Russia, they use the word zagzwang. That means you're like struck. Not flabbergasted, just
Awestruck.
close word is awestruck, but it's like you don't know, you don't know what to do, like that. So Prabhupada writes, having stated that, Prabhupada says, Lord Shambhu, Shiva, was not to be captivated by the external potency, but because Lord Vishnu wanted to captivate him also, he exhibited his internal potency to act the way that his external potency acts to captivate ordinary living entities. So, right? We see some beautiful woman or man, boom. But the same way, but the internal potency, no one can escape that. Lord Vishnu can captivate anyone, even such a strong personality as Lord Shambhu. What to speak about showing the form? Simply by blowing his flute, everybody is struck. Where is that sound coming from? Text 22. Tam viksha deva iti kandukalina yesa.
Tam viksha deva iti kandukalina yesa.
Vridashputa smita Shrishta Kataksha Mustaha Stri Prekshana Pratishamikshana Vivalatma Natmana Mantikat Umam Saganam Shaveda While Lord Shiva observed the beautiful woman playing with the ball, she sometimes glanced at him and slyly smiled in bashfulness. So that's how they catch him. And the man is like, she likes me, she likes me. As he looked at the beautiful woman and she watched him, he forgot both himself and Uma. So he's now bewildered by the internal potency. His most beautiful wife. So Uma is also very beautiful. She's a demigod, so beautiful. Million times more beautiful than any ordinary lady. You know? As well as his associates nearby. He didn't know anyone existed. That's what it happens. When you're bewildered by a beautiful woman, you will not say anything. Anyone, you will do the most stupidest thing. And I've seen it. They will talk stupid things, right? They'll talk, girl and boy in the bus, or when you think, what is wrong with these people? Why can't they do it in their own home or like that? So that's what happens. So this Prabhupada says the material bondage of this world is that a beautiful woman can captivate a handsome man, and that a handsome man can captivate a beautiful woman. Such are the affairs that began when Lord Shiva observed the beautiful girl playing with the ball. In such activities, the influence of Cupid is very prominent. And so this is why men shouldn't watch women playing tennis or any ball game. What is that? Volleyball, right? Nowadays they don't even wear anything. So,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So therefore, all this they say for sports, but what sports? Lusty sports. So Prabhupada says, as both parties move their eyebrows and glance at one another, their lusty desires increase more and more. Such reciprocations of lusty desires took place between Lord Shiva and the beautiful woman, even though Uma and Lord Shiva's associates were by Lord Shiva's side. So, the question is, was Uma also captivated, or were the associates also captivated? So they all must be. Such is the attraction between man and woman. So Prabhupada is comparing the attraction between a man and woman in the material world. Nowadays it's very hard. We have to say man and woman, man and man, woman and woman, it and that, day and day.
Nowadays he and he.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's all combination.
Yeah.
All
So
combination.
So it's very difficult. But it's the same. The attraction is still the same. Lord Shiva is supposed to be above all this kind of attraction, but he was victimized by the captivating power of Lord Vishnu. And therefore, the very famous verse from Rishabhadev, it's a very famous verse. You all should know this because it helps you in your preaching. That one who becomes very attracted to his body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth, he cannot actually cut it out. It becomes Hridaya, really tough knot, chain. So Prabhupada writes, when a man and woman exchange feelings of lust, both of them are victimized. And thus they are bound to this material world in various ways. So Prabhupada's point is, both have to come back again. Cycle of birth and death. But of the two, if you say, one actually is less fortunate in the sense that the woman, if they get pregnant, the man will leave them and run away like that. They won't want to take responsibility, especially nowadays. So have to be very careful. In terms of independence, equality, people talk, but actually the woman loses out. So therefore, they came up with the abortion. Abortion. So they are fighting now. Roe and Wade and Supreme Court. They want it abolished. The world is going crazy.
But this legalization of the gay marriage and whatnot. Like, I mean, from a Shastra point of view, it's sinful.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
But if they come
what's
to
their
temple?
destination?
Hell.
One of the
But Trump is
27.
trying to abolish the
That's
abortion laws, right? Or is
No,
he doing
no.
the other way?
no other way.
Oh, other way. He's
Yeah,
also
he's
pro-life.
for it.
Yes.
Pro-life.
Oh,
He's pro-life. Yeah.
Republicans are pro.
Only when it comes to human being, it's pro-life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, they can't say pro-life. That's nonsense.
Fascist.
Pro-life means all life should be pro.
They're fascist.
Yeah.
Not racist, but fascist.
Species.
It's not right.
They believe on the human species more important than the species of life. There is a specific term they call species.
So then why is he allowing that?
What?
Oh, allow kara na abortion.
No, they're not
No, no,
allowed.
yes.
Against.
Against.
That's
The other groups is they want the Supreme Court to abolish that law between Roe and Wade, which
1971, right?
is now holding everyone from abolishing it. Like that. They want to get rid of it. But yeah, so you can see everything is going upside down.
It's very controversial to, like, sometimes if irresponsible men are going away, what can women do if she's not able to take care of
That's right. So this is Kali Yuga. Everything is like upside down. As I mentioned, right? In Kali Yuga, the men are not qualified. So the women are always looking for qualified men. What to look for? So they go to Vrindavan, they go to this place looking for qualified sadhus. Prabhupada says like that. But in reality, yeah, men are not qualified. Very few men are very qualified. So therefore, the trouble comes when they get married, there's divorces, all this is due to unqualified marriage. If the men are qualified, then the woman will at least say, okay, I don't mind tolerating. But they are not qualified. They are very abusive, they are low class and all this. And so it causes a lot of problems. Okay, text 23. Tasya karaga satu kanduko yada Tato viduram tamanu brajat striya Vasa sasutram lagumaruto hara Vavasya devasya kilanu pashyata When the ball leaped from her hand and fell at a distance, the women began to follow it. But as Lord Shiva observed these activities, a breeze suddenly blew away the fine dress and the belt that covered her. It's like movie, dun, dun. It's like a movie. Text 24. Evam tam ruchira pangim darshaniyam manoramam Vitsva tasyam manaschakre Sajjantyam bhavakila Thus Lord Shiva saw the woman, every part of whose body was beautifully formed, and the beautiful woman also looked at him. Therefore, thinking that she was attracted to him, Lord Shiva became very much attracted to her. That's the other thing. If you keep looking at a woman and she looks at you, then you are in trouble. It's true, right? You keep looking how she looks good and she looks at you and she knows you're looking at her. And they're very sensitive. They're more sensitive than the men. So you should be very careful. Be careful. So here Prabhupada says how when Shiva was looking at her body and all, she was also looking at Krishna. I mean at Shiva. Then Shiva thought, oh, she must be attracted to me. This is how it is. And then what happens? Thinking, feeling, willing. So now he wanted to touch her. So therefore, don't look at naked forms. In US, the pornography is too bad, too sad here. 4 years ago, the statistics for 12-year-old kids, both boys and girls in US, 3.8 boys by the time they are 12 years old are watching pornography on the internet. 3.8. And
Out of 10.
out of 5.
Hi,
Yeah. And 2.8 girls. Yeah. Huh? That's a very high percentage. That means 4 out of boys, 4 out of 5 boys. So
80%
yes. 80% boys and 60% girls already looking at porn at 12 years old.
That way, China is good, right, Prabhu, with the Great Firewall and everything.
Yeah, but still they have their own internal porn, right? it's a sick thing. That's why Krishna consciousness must be practiced very nicely at home, so the children also understands what is good for them. If you don't practice, and then the child will think, well, my parents are not doing it, why even tell me? Like that. It becomes a challenge.
Yeah, here I think even more bewildering is Lord Shiva knows.
Yes. Yeah. So what do you speak of us?
Yeah. So then he is carried away even knowing, right?
Yes. But the point is, nobody is safe until you're Krishna conscious. You can't think. Remember, I told you, don't think you are. After a while, you think you're pure, nothing can disturb me. No. Until you die.
Yeah. This is like moments after the
Yes.
Just put and ask for it.
Yeah, immediately.
Yeah.
This is what the dangers in the royal road too.
Yes, like that. Yeah, you have to be so careful. That's why another reason why you have to pray all the time. I don't fall down. Not just with women or what, fall down in so many different ways.
Pride.
Yeah. So you have to be very careful. I don't want to be proud of my abilities. I don't want anything. I just want to do service, Lord. Please protect me. Text 25. That's why you should always try to serve. Take up service and do service. Don't expect to be served. Then your pride will grow. So these are some techniques you all can apply. Always try to serve when you can. Don't sit down first in the thing to eat like that, because unless you're an old person or whatever, you can't do it. Okay, but otherwise don't. If you can serve, go and serve. Always think, if I serve, Krishna will be pleased with me. Like that. I'll get something. Right? So what is that? Purushottam Adhik Mas is coming. So do service, more service. Right?
at workplace and also while like preaching, I mean, what should be the etiquette for
Workplace, whatever the standard is, you have to follow that. Work ethics, make sure you follow that. Oh yeah, I mean, meaning you are going to mix with all kinds of people, right?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so you make sure you pray nicely to Krishna and say, all my team, all of them are women, I'm the only man. They all are too pretty, like that. Please protect me. So you take a picture of your wife and always look at her. And then they'll ask you, what are you doing? I want to look at my wife. No, I mean, just pray and then don't. You already have a wife. What is that?
No, I was just asking, I mean, in general, how to. People come and, it's hard to make them understand the etiquette sometimes. That's why I'm asking, how do I.
Yeah, so have a work ethic, but don't become so rigid that you think you are anti-woman, Yeah, so not like that. Be nice to them, kind to them. But actually, if you're very Krishna conscious, they actually like that. They'll say, you're so nice like that. But don't, from your side, you're nice because you see them as a
So
soul, jiva.
Soul is very high actually.
Yeah, it's true. So you can see them as actually the way you should see is these are all gopis of Krishna. I'm serving them. Yeah.
That's very difficult.
Actually, it's very difficult. But actually, that's what it is. Because we are all Prakriti and we can only be enjoyed by Krishna. So you have to understand that principle. They're not for me to enjoy. So I can't even look at it like that. But you're right. It's a very high level. But practice will come. If you keep praying. Huh? Yes, we mentioned in the... Yes.
Mother.
You have to see them as mothers. Yeah. But because of the culture is like that, you have to be very careful. That's all, you know. I remember one devotee, he went for a job in US in another city, and his wife was in another place. So after a month, he had this cleaning lady come and clean the house. He's alone, you know. After 6 months, he fell down with the cleaning lady. So then he was like, really, disturbed. He came and talked to me and so on. Then I was telling him, don't think about it anymore, right? You can't fix it anymore. There's no such thing as time travel. So just move on, just chant more, pray and move on, But you can see, even a cleaning lady could bewilder. Yeah. So, so you have to practice properly. The whole idea. His wife doesn't know. Yeah. So you can see how difficult it you make your life become. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, devotee. When you're all alone, and this cleaning ladies will come and clean. I guess she may be twirling the broom. No ball, but broom. So it is alluring. That's the point. Yeah. So similarly, for even ladies, old ladies, they are at home, and then these young men come to clean, gardeners, and then they smile. They take out this T-shirt and show the body. Same problem in America. Is such a problem. Yeah. Why? Because they don't have Krishna consciousness. Yeah. All right, text 25. Taya parita vijnanas tatkrita smara vivala bhavanyapi pashyantya tataristat padam yayau. Lord Shiva, his good sense taken away by the woman because of lusty desires to enjoy with her, became so mad for her that even in the presence of Bhavani, he did not hesitate to approach her. So what it means is when you have strong lusty desire, the mode of passion covers you, and you cannot reason. There's no intelligence at this level. All your senses are now hankering to be satisfied. So therefore, you don't even know who's around you.
Covered fully.
Yeah, even in the midst of the marketplace, you will do it. That's how strong the senses are. So therefore, we should be very, very careful how we keep our senses under control. Text 26. Satam mayantam alokya vivastra vidita vrisham Niliyamana riksheshu asanti nanvatistata. The beautiful woman was already naked, and when she saw Lord Shiva coming toward her, she became extremely bashful. Thus she kept smiling, but she hid herself among the trees and did not stand in one place. So making it like a game, hard to get. Text 27. Tam manvagachat bhagavan bhava pramusitendriya kamasya cha vasam nitaha karenum iva yutapaha. His senses, being agitated, Lord Shiva, victimized by lusty desires, began to follow her, just as a lusty elephant follows a she elephant. So that's how you catch the male elephant. You have a she elephant on heat, you put her, you tie in a tree, then in front of her you dig a deep hole, and then the male elephant will rush, and when they fall in the hole, that's how you catch the elephants. Text 28. Sonu vrajyati vegena hitva Chatim Striyam
Grihitva Nishchayam Striyam
Keshabanda Upaniya
Keshavanda Upaniya
Bahubyam Parishashvaje.
Bahubyam Parishashvaje.
After following her with great speed, Lord Shiva caught her by the braid of her hair and dragged her near him. Although she was unwilling, he embraced her with his arms. Okay, so he pulled her even by so strong he didn't even care how he treated her. Text 29 and 30. Soba Guddha Bhagavata
Sobhagudha Bhagavata
Arina Karini Yatha
Arina Karini Yatha
Itastatha Prasarpanti
Itastatha Prasarpanti
Prakirna Shiroruha
Vipravirna Shiroruha
Atmanam Mochayitvanga
Atmanam Mochayitvanga
Surarishabha Bhujantara
Surarishabha
Pradravatsa Pritushoni
Pradravatsa Pritushoni
Maya Deva Vinirmita
Maya Deva Vinirmita.
Being embraced by Lord Shiva like a female elephant embraced by a male, the woman whose hair was scattered swirled like a snake. O king, this woman who had large high hips was a woman of Yoga Maya, presented by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She released herself somehow or other from the fond embrace of Lord Shiva's arms and ran away. Text 31. Tasyasau padavim rudro Vishnu radbhuta karmana Pratyapadyata kamena Vairine vavinijitaha. As if harassed by an enemy in the form of lusty desires, Lord Shiva followed the path of Lord Vishnu, who acts very wonderfully and who had taken the form of Mohini. In the purport, Prabhupada says Lord Shiva cannot be victimized by Maya. Therefore, it is to be understood that Lord Shiva was being thus harassed by Lord Vishnu's internal potency. And Lord Vishnu has so many potencies. Since Lord Shiva was being harassed by the woman, it is to be understood that this was being done not by a woman, but by Lord Vishnu himself. So this has to be understood. It's not ordinary thing. The whole situation is not ordinary. So we shouldn't think like it's an ordinary case. It's not. Text 32. Tasyanudavato retas Chaskanda mogaretasaha Sushmino yutapasyeva Asitam manudavataha. Just as a maddened bull elephant follows a female elephant who is able to conceive pregnancy, Lord Shiva followed the beautiful woman and discharged semen, even though his discharge of semen never goes in vain. Text 33. Yatra yatra patanmayam Vetastasya mahatmanaha Nirupyasya himnascha Kshetrani asan mahipate. O king, wheresoever on the surface of the globe fell the semen of the great personality of Lord Shiva, mines of gold and silver later appeared. So Vishwanath Thakur says that those who seek gold and silver can worship Lord Shiva for material opulences. If you want, you worship him. And Parikshit Maharaj therefore later asked, why is it the worshippers of Shiva are more wealthy, whereas worshippers of Vishnu are not? So this will be discussed later in the 10th canto.
Is it true, Prabhu? I don't know. When I went to Kerala to visit, I think that some of the people in some of the temples we were visiting, Ayyappa, they're talking about.
I know, but I do not.
I didn't know if there's a scriptural reference to it.
They say that, but
It's in one of the Puranas.
But I have gone, Prabhu. Like I have gone 5 times to Shabrimala, but no reference.
No reference.
Yeah, no, I've been there.
Ayyappa.
He said to be conceived by Shiva and
During
Mohini.
Mohini
Mohini,
Murthy,
Mohini.
I've never read it, so
But people do say that.
Yeah.
I've heard about it myself.
anyway, we just
I think
worship.
from Siddhanta perspective, it doesn't look right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because internal potency and Shiva, there's no
Connection.
connection.
Yeah, cannot have
Really,
connection.
cannot have.
Yeah.
Shiva does not have access.
Yeah.
But then when Lord Shiva releases the energy, that reference we have.
Yes.
But then there has to be some output of that energy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's
Gold
right.
and silver.
Gold
Yeah.
and silver.
It became gold and silver wherever it fell.
Uh-huh.
So therefore Prabhupada is saying, if you
That
want wealth,
nullifies the conception of Ayyappa.
yeah, that's right. There's no other information. I've heard of that, but for me, it's not. If it's not the Bhagavatam, usually I don't worry. If it's not in Puranas, then I don't. Which Purana they say?
I don't know, but they refer to a Purana.
They say that they quote
No
some.
newer com-
Parashurama created the temple.
Mm.
The Murthy.
Yeah, Kerala, like entire thing is Parashurama's place, right? Parashurama Kshetra.
Yeah, Parashurama. Anyway,
In Udupi, there is a temple, I think Ananteshwar, I forget the name. Shiva and Vishnu are like worshipped in the same place. I forget, right next to the Udupi
Right
Krishna
next to
temple.
Murthy
Yeah.
temple.
Mm.
Forget the name, but something that
Yeah.
I don't know the name.
anyway, don't worry about it. I mean, as a side knowledge, you want to know, you can do some research on it. Otherwise, we shouldn't worry so much. Some of the, it's like, they say, like Tulasi, she cursed Vishnu and all this. For me, it's like, cursing, too many, all this done, same. So let's not worry about that, and we will continue tomorrow, like 34 onwards, at Navin Krishna's place. We'll meet at 9.
No, Saturday, because Sunday is the
Sunday is
gospel of
9:30 we meet.
9:30.
Yeah, we meet 9.
9:30.
9:30.
Yeah, 9 हम ऐसे भी.
Tomorrow then with the entire day class.
Yeah, हम लोग नहीं जाएंगे संकीर्तन में, जो जाएगा जाएगा.
9:30.
9:30 to
9:30.
4.
Till 4.
So 1 to 2 lunch.
Because day after we come.
Yeah. Because the next day you don't have.
Thank you, Coach.
Sunday, no class. Yeah.
See you. Thank you.
Sunday only.
Thank you.
Hare
Yeah, I got your message.